Good morning. This is a powerful pulpit up here. All right, let's see, who am I? Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Community Church. We are a welcoming congregation where we strive to transform ourselves and the world through love, wonder, and connection. My name is John Countryman, and I use he, him pronouns, and I serve on the worship committee. And I'm a greeter. Today, as we celebrate Mother's Day, the monthly theme is Awakening Curiosity. And we'll be talking about the importance of asking questions and keeping curiosity alive in our lives. The UUC's Safer Congregation Committee invites you to join us on May 30th as we gather to learn what we can do to keep our church both safe and welcoming. Our own Susan Fox will lead a workshop on active listening, so you'll leave feeling more confident about how to handle unexpected situations inside or outside of church. The event is from 11 to 1:30 with a free pizza lunch. We hope to see you there. Whether you are here for the first time or the 1,000th time, welcome. Whatever you are facing in your life, welcome. This is a place where we try our best to be real with one another, to get through hard things together and to remind ourselves and one another of the values that ground and center us, that motivate and move us. Whoever you are, whatever your faith journey, whomever you love, you are welcome here. We welcome all who seek to know the sacred and all who seek to make our world more just. If you'd like a care or concern read by the minister and were unable to complete an online request during the week, please enter it into the chat and we'll get around to you. We hope. Anyway, our chalice lighting words are from Michelle Collins, and Kieran's going to help us out this morning to light the chalice. Thank you, Kieran. Happy Mother's Day to all who celebrate out there. This flame is for the questions that follow us home, the ones that refuse to settle, that sit beside us at night. Not every riddle is meant to be solved. Let this light keep open a space where not knowing is allowed to breathe. We're going to sing our opening hymn, Where Do We Come From?, number 1003 in our teal softcover hymnal, From Our Seats. We're just going to sing it through all together once, but stay tuned because we will sing it again later in the service.
I'm Reverend Sarah, and I use she, her pronouns. To remind us all that our commitment as a congregation is to be together in covenant we share these affirmation words. Will you please join me, beginning with that all-important word? Love is the message of this church, and service is our way. This is our great covenant together, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. We return to our centers of connection every week because we know that rituals bring us closer together. We light our candles of hope and joy and place our stones of sorrow and fear to honor these inner experiences together. So as folks in the room participate in the ritual, those of you joining us online, I invite you to use the chat to put your name and candle or stone next to it so that we can include you at the end. If you'd like someone to light a candle or place a stone for you and you're in the room, we'll do that at around the same time. So now anyone who would like to come forward may do so. We have 2 lines for candles on the sides here, and the stones are in the center. So come on and join us for this ritual. We will now place stones for those who are joining us online. I have Cindy C. and Chris J. Anyone in the room who would like a stone placed for you, please raise your hand and we will make sure one's placed for you. We place that one final stone for all the remaining sorrows, the big heavy ones that continue to weigh us down. And now we place candles for those who are joining us online. We have Elizabeth and Kurt, Chris J, and Cindy P. If you would like to have a candle lit for you in the room, please raise your hand. We will make sure to get you. We got Scott there. Yep. And Gail's there. Dan and Jason. And we light the one final candle for all the joys that continue to burn brightly and the hopes that keep us moving forward. Please join in singing our sung prayer response, "There is a Love."
Amen, and hi there. My name is Adina Danuve. I use they or she pronouns, and I am your Director of Lifespan Religious Exploration. And happy Mother's Day. As you've heard, our theme this month is Awakening Curiosity. And when I was thinking about awakening curiosity, I think a lot about questions, right? Now, I have been known to ask a lot of questions over my lifetime, but today we're going to hear a story, a Mother's Day story, about where our song from this morning came from, a song that is literally made of all questions, right? We already sang it, we know, but I'm gonna need your help. I ask you a lot without even giving you practice, but here we go. So if you are sitting and you can self-select, we're kind of looking this direction here. I don't know where the line is, you figure it out, but this side. You are going to help me by being Sam. So get that in your head, you're Sam, I'll explain more later. And if you're like here-ish, you weren't already over there, you're kind of over here, you are going to help me by being Sam's mom, okay? Get it in your head, you'll figure it out later. And if you have not been chosen, if you are a rebel and you're somewhere else and you still don't have a part, or you're at home and you want to self-select whichever one you are going to be Sam's other mom. Okay? Yeah, got it? So, raise your hand if you're Sam. Yeah? Okay, raise your hand if you're Sam's mom. Raise your hand if you're Sam's other mom. I think we'll be okay. Okay, so once upon a time there was a kid named Sam. Sam was very bright, and they were good at math and drawing and playing kickball, but Sam was best at asking questions. How small are the people in the radio? They would ask. If combs have teeth, why do we not call it a teeth brush? Do dogs have a favorite kind of music? Is the S or the C silent in the word scent? Do superheroes have a special laundromat where they wash their supersuits so no one sees them? Would dinosaurs have liked pizza? Who closes the bus in the door when the driver gets off? Why does your nose run but your feet smell? And of course, their favorite question to ask was always, why? Somebody knew it was coming. Okay, so everyone got used to Sam and their questions. Sometimes someone would know the answer and tell Sam. Other times they would get out their phone and help Sam look it up. And then other times people would simply and honestly have to answer, I don't know, right? So one day, Sam and their mom were sitting in the kitchen, and Sam was coloring something else they were good at, and Sam's mom was washing dishes, and Sam looked up from their picture and asked, Mom, where do we come from? And Sam's mom paused for a moment. She thought she had more time. Then she said, well, Sam, when two people, no, Mom, that is not what I meant. Sam's mom sighed in relief. I mean, where do we come from? Like, what are we? Where are we going? Okay, Sam's out there. Here's where you come in. Jonathan's going to give us a note reminder, and we're going to sing the part from the song earlier today, okay? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Again, where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Perfect, Sam's. And Sam's mom thought for a minute. She had asked these questions herself, but had never really thought she would have to answer them for someone else. And what if she didn't have the right answer? I mean, she had ideas, but could anyone ever really know? So Sam's mom settled on answering, I don't know, go ask your other mom. But now Sam's questions were stuck in their mom's head. Where do we come from? She asked herself again and again. So Sam's first mom's out there. We're doing the long one, yeah? Let's try it. Where do we come from? Again. Where do we come from? Good job. So Sam went and put their coloring stuff away, and they went to ask their other mom, we call her Amma, about their questions. Sam's Amma was the smartest person that Sam had ever known. She told great stories about things she had done in her life. She was always patient and helped Sam with their questions. So Sam got upstairs and found Amma and asked, Amma, where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? And Sam's Amma thought for a minute the way she does. She was just thinking and thinking. Finally, she said, mystery. And Sam looked puzzled. What? Mystery, Sam's Amma said again. Sam stared blankly. Have you ever had a child do this when you answer a question? Just like, yeah, I don't get it. Amma tried one more time. Life is a riddle and a mystery. So Amma's out there. Are you ready to answer the question? Here we go. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. So Sam looked at their Amma and asked, but what does that mean? So Sam's Amma replied, I asked these same questions when I was a kid, and I'm still asking many of them now. Finding the answers to life's questions is a lifelong journey, and if you're lucky enough to find an answer that works for you, you often still find more questions. You just keep looking, keep trying, and keep asking. And Sam, who was good at asking questions, was okay with that answer. So Sam went back to coloring, and while they did, they started singing again. You might see where we're going here. And at the same time, Sam's mom was finishing the dishes and kept singing her questions. And then Sam's Amma was singing their questions, yes, her questions. And all together, it sounded something like this. Yeah? There you go. that's the story about where that song came from. But it's not a true story. If you want to know that one, I guess you'll have to go ask more questions. My question for you now is, who is ready to head to class?
Please join me in our offering and acknowledging all the ways we give to this church and this world. We give because this is our church, and we value what it does for us, to us, and through us, to our community and our world. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this church inside and outside our walls. May we give in love and in hope. Thank you for your offering and all the ways you give to our life and ministry with your time, talent, treasure, and trust. Together, our gifts allow us to expand and strengthen the tapestry of love, wonder, and connection that blesses this church and transforms us and our world. Our reading this morning is Blessing the Questions by Jan Richardson. Let them come, the questions that storm through the crack in the world. Let them come, the questions that crawl through the hole in your heart. Let them come, the questions in rage, the questions in fear. Let them come, the questions that whisper themselves so slow, the questions that arrive with breathtaking speed, the questions that never entirely leave, the questions that bring more questions still. Let them come, the questions that haunt you in shadowy hours, the questions that visit in the deepest night, the questions that draw you into rest, the questions that stir the wakening world.
Thank you, Jonathan. So, as a parent, I recognize that it's my job to teach my children how to ask questions, especially good questions, and have them not be afraid to ask why. But when my child chooses to weaponize that question by asking "but why" over and over and over and over and over without even listening to the answers that I give, I'm less than patient with my responses. Sure, questions like why is the sky blue is easy enough to answer with scientific information, but questions like why can't we ride our scooters to the bus stop have more complicated answers, like because you refused to put your clothes on until it was time to leave, so if we don't drive to the bus, we'll miss it. But the genuine why questions, the ones they ask me about how the world works and why we do things and the way we do them, are a good reminder that we often take for granted the way the world works. If we don't ever question why things are the way they are, we are never in a position to change them for good. So when I asked some parent friends of mine about the why phase of parenting, they pointed out that once you drill down on the whys, they all boil down to essentially 3 answers: evolution, physics, and social constructs. So it's really important to understand which are which, because knowing which things are immutable or unchangeable, like the laws of physics, and which are changeable but only through a process that takes excessive time, like evolution, and which are made up and can be changed with human cooperation and effort, like social constructs. The Serenity Prayer, written by theologian Reinhold Niebuhr during World War II, reminds us to accept the things we cannot change, in this case physics and evolution, and to change the things we can, in this case social constructs, in the hopes that we have the wisdom to know the difference. Truly, the only thing we have power to change is our own behavior, though. But the ways we behave are deeply rooted in the cultures that have raised us and transformed around us, and that have replicated and reinforced themselves by our collective behaviors. Social constructs that we have the power to change. Although it is with effort, all of us have the power to change. 30 years ago, someone with visible tattoos would not have been allowed in the pulpit, but here I am. 30 years ago, trans people were too often the butt of jokes rather than welcome members of our community. We live under and in social constructs that keep us safe, that keep us from harming each other, but we also live under the social constructs like patriarchy and capitalism and racism. We, as Unitarian Universalists, value the power that we have to transform, to evolve with the times, as well as to create transformation. Transformation is so important to our UU ethics and theology that it's one of our 6 values that are central to our faith, that are grounded in love. It's the T in JETPIG, if you remember JETPIG. Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity, all centered around love. Transformation is possible only when we're able to stay flexible and open and willing to see the world through the new perspectives when they come into our orbit. It's only possible when we can ask ourselves why we do things and if it's possible for them to be done differently. Last week, while my family was in San Diego, Spirit Airlines went under unexpectedly, stranding travelers, flight attendants, and pilots all across the country. Luckily, it was not the airline that we were flying on, but they were taken out by an unexpected raise in oil prices because of the war in Iran and the conflict over the Strait of Hormuz. Days later, not that many days later, a regular guy who loves planes and travel wondered aloud on his social media, what if we, as the American people, purchased Spirit Airlines and then run it ourselves, like they do with the Green Bay Packers? Do you know how that works? And then people were like, wait, can we do that? And more people thought about it and have pledged money towards buying a carrier license when it comes to auction next week. And wait, can we do that? Why not? Why not try it at least? It can't be worse than what we already have with our airlines. And the lowest pledge they're asking for is $45, which is about the cost of one ticket on Spirit Airlines. So if 44 million people, which are the number of people that flew Spirit last year, make a pledge, we could own an airline and make it run the most comfortable, efficient, and cost-effective airline out there. And then the markets would have to shift. And here's the thing, this one question, why don't we buy an airline as the American people, has opened up so many more possibilities. People are now thinking, why don't we buy up hospitals that are closing and run them ourselves? Why don't we own so much more together? The social constructs that we live within have told us that the way things are is the way things have to be. But when we ask a simple question, we can begin to see a new way of thinking. This is what Professor Perry Zern writes about in his writings. It's about change, but it's also about curiosity. He says, there's a kind of curiosity that is neither terribly serious nor entirely unserious. This particular configuration of the curious impulse begins by fidgeting with the fissures of social mores and political strata, poking and prying in search of new space to stand tall. It bravely barrels into the darkest recesses of suffering and pain, steals itself, and lays bare the true face of social inequality. And it raises its head to the sky, imagines as yet inconceivable worlds of justice and peace, still so easily dismissed as feverish fantasies or illogical hopes. He continues, this curiosity is politically resistant. This curiosity is from and for the margins. This kind of curiosity comes alive in the streets and in poetry, in shared meals and political movements, and it fearlessly imagines new and better futures. This is the kind of curiosity that's essential to creating change for good in the world. The kind of curiosity that asks, what are the problems of the world and how can we fix them beyond the ways that we have always done things, which of course is never always, but how can we change and imagine to fix them? So here's another quote from author Ian Leslie. Our oldest stories about curiosity are warnings. Adam and Eve and the apple of knowledge, Icarus and the sun, Pandora's box. Early Christian theologians railed against curiosity. There's a reason for this. Curiosity is unruly. It doesn't like rules, or at least it assumes all rules are provisional, subject to the laceration of a smart question nobody has yet thought to ask. It disdains the approved pathways, preferring diversions, unplanned excursions, impulsive left turns. In short, curiosity is deviant. Pursuing it is liable to bring you into conflict with authority at some point. And that is what we need right now, to be in conflict with the authority of social constructs that don't want us to ask, but why? Because it might reveal that the answer is, because I said so. My kids despise the answer as much as I did when I was a kid. It means because it's easier for me to do my thing that way in the way it's always been done. It means because it benefits me to have your unquestioning compliance. Because of social constructs that make my life easier while you suffer. And yes, I truly want to be the parent whose kids are the ones who ask, but why, and transform the world. But why do they have to do it to me? The truth is that life is a riddle and a mystery, as we learn from Sam and their family, but we're still given the gift of knowing that, as the hymn says, the UU hymn says, even to question truly is the answer. Will you join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation? Finding a comfortable place for your body, whatever that means for you. See if you can notice your breathing. Creator Spirit, life force of the universe, be with us this Mother's Day. Help us to celebrate the people who have mothered us through this life, be that biological moms, chosen moms, wider family, friends, whomever has parented us. Remind us to acknowledge that motherhood and not motherhood is complicated and fraught with complex emotions. For those who wanted to be mothers but weren't able to, those who have lost mothers, and those who have lost children. For those who have been mothers and fathers and non-binary parents and found it impossible. Let us hold each of us and each other close on this day, making sure to give extra care to those who need our love the most. Help us to imagine a world shaped with the fiercest, loving questions that we can ask. May they transform our world for the better. Amen. So please rise as you're able or willing in body and in spirit to join in singing our closing hymn, Do You Hear? Number 112 in the gray hardcover hymnal. service, I invite you to reach out to one another, whatever way that feels comfortable for you. Looks like most people are good with hand holding. When you go, remember these words by the Reverend Tandy Rogers. May your wonder be bigger than your fear. May questions gently lead you into truth, not control. May you meet the unknown with wide eyes and let your spirit be surprised. When you go, go in peace. Salam and shalom.
When you leave, know that you are good and know that you are loved.
Blessed be. Take your dark and your light and your love from this place and share them with the world until we meet again. Amen.